This is not only the best card in set 3, it is the best card in the game, period, right now.
What's up, YouTube? It's me and R&B back again, rating the Emerald cards from Into the Inklands. As per usual, today we'll be rating the cards from 1 star to 5 stars. Wasn't supposed to show those at the same time. How are you, R&B?
Dude, I'm loving this set so much, man.
Yeah, I think there's the power levels obviously come up a bit, but there's also just tons of new ways to play the game. Like we have locations and we have more interactability and certain effects. I just think it's really showing like a promising future for Lorcana.
I think I'm most excited to do this Emerald review because I think Emerald got the most tools from this set. Emerald went from possibly one of the weakest, actually, no, I think it just was the weakest color last set,
Yeah.
to now I think it is the #1 color going into set 3 meta.
And that is amazing to hear, especially for my Cogsworth fans out there for all those Emerald Steel lists running around. I mean, you yourself just brought an Emerald Steel list to a 1K this weekend.
Yep, I top forward a 1K this weekend with Emerald Steel, and one of my teammates, Lorcana Pro, just actually won a 1K on the same list.
That's incredible. Exact same list as well. Awesome. So you guys were testing that together then? And let's get on to card number 1, Cubby, Mighty Lost Boy. They are a 4-cost inkable 3/5. Whenever this character moves to a location, he gets +3 this turn. It's the kind of effect I'd want to see on a much lower cost character. Like, I think the fact that this effect is coming in at 4 makes me wonder why we have it when, but there's so many better cards that are at 6 attack coming in at this sort of ink cost. Like, if you look like Maui, right, as the gold standard for a mid-game 6 attacker, this is not Maui.
It's not. I mean, this is bulk. I'm just one and pass.
All right, 1 and pass. Let's go on to the next card. Oh, I forgot I have to scroll down for every card.
The scroll's get. Imagine when we get to steal. The scroll's gonna be real.
Oh no! So this is Cursed Merfolk, a 1-cost uninkable 0/1 that quests for 2, and whenever this character is challenged, each opponent chooses and discards a card. Now this has very minimal effect on the board. I mean, the fact that it quests for 2 and forces your opponent to discard a card a lot of the time makes it very, very strong, I think, in aggressive decks. What are your thoughts?
So, okay, we have very similar cards in both Lilo and Maleficent now. They are very, very aggressive cards. And the stat line of 1/1 is negligible. You're not playing it because it's attacking the board. You're playing it because it's a 1 cost that quest for 2. This is so much better than Lilo and Maleficent because it has that Flynn line on it where when it
Yeah.
does get banished, it removes a card from their hand. So, like, I don't care about dealing 1 damage to one of their characters. That incidental damage isn't going to matter when I'm just turning my dude sideways every turn trying to win the game as fast as possible. So, like, I think this is better than Lilo, and I think it's better than Maleficent.
I completely agree, and considering how strong and influential Lilo and Maleficent have been on the meta in both set 1 and set 2, I would say this is a 4-star card. Like, it's not game-breaking, but it's one of the best options Emerald has.
Yeah, I think it's the best 1-drop aggressive card in the game.
Sure, I definitely think that's true, especially coming in at, like, the 1-cost uninkable slot. Like, you're just... This is turning a card that, like, was getting lore into a card that is getting lore and taking a card out of your opponent's hand, or at least forcing a removal card. That's insane. And on to the next card. Don Carnage, Prince of Pirates, 4/4 evasive at quest for 2. Now, I have to say, this card was pretty nuts in the limited pre-release, sealed format. But when it comes to constructed, I'm not sure a 5-cost evasive that quest for 2 is strong enough. It's coming in a little bit too late to apply pressure onto your opponent, whereas cards like Ray at this cost are at least questing for free lore. But one upside is we have a 4 health stat line. It's the kind of stat line that Genie has, I believe, is free fall, right? Yeah, and that makes it more survivable. Like, it survives a smash. And, Tinkerbell plus grab your sword. But other than that, I just don't think it applies enough pressure to be worth running in most constructed decks. Like, maybe we'd see it with, like, some pirate synergy down the line with that keyword. Other than that, I'm not really sure I'm seeing this above, like, a 2-star.
Yeah, I would say it's like a 1.5. I still think that Ray is a better card when it comes to the aggression. If Smash becomes one of the most played removal tools in the game, then, like, sure, like, maybe we make an adjustment in the green fossil list to, like, go away from Ray and go to Don Carnage for the sustainability, because maybe it can get it sticks on the board for 2 turns, and you get
I guess
4
the
out of it
4
versus
law.
the
Yeah.
3. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is the one line of evaluation where where it's better, but because it's so situational, I think in a vacuum and with the current card pool, and we don't really have a meta 2-star. I think 1.5 is a fair statement too.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not excited about it. It's definitely not a card that I'm like, "Oh my gosh, did you see the new Dawn Carnage?" Never.
Well, maybe we'll be excited about this card. 4-star,
Oh, missed
4
Flotsam.
ink, Friar Tuck, Priest of Nottingham. It's a 2/4, not a great stat line at 4 cost. When you play this character, the player or players with the most cards in their hand chooses and discards a card. That's an interesting condition for discarding. It makes it not work in a discard focused deck because you're aiming to have more cards than your opponent. So this just seems bad.
So, like, I got by this card. I played it because, like, we had the same amount of cards in hand and we both had to discard, which, like, sucked. Because, like, it checks, like, if you have the same amount of cards as your opponent, you're both discarding a card, like, which is
Okay,
awful. But
that's rough. You're almost never like eking advantage out of this because you already have to be a behind to have it trigger.
right. And, like, the 2/4 stat line on 4, we have a ton of those that quest for 2 that don't see any play right now as it is.
Yeah, I'd put this at 1-star. I'm really not seeing the value here. Okay, well, going back one to 72, we have Flotsam. Your character's name, Jetsam, get +3. Finally, we are seeing Amethyst Emerald, Eel Tribal. It's going to be insane. Yeah, I mean, cards, meh. A
Yeah,
rush,
like, I think
5/2 rush, evasive. Maybe you kill a Rapunzel and live.
I think, like, as more sets come out, if they keep doing this Flotsam Jetsam theme, like, at some point there will be an Eels aggro deck. But, like,
Mm,
the issue that I have is that Magic has a tribal type called slivers. And slivers, when each sliver gives buffs and bonuses to all your other slivers. The fact that Flotsam and Jetsam specifically give buffs to each other and not to all of them is
that's a
like
good point.
in the design space, it's like, man, I want my Flotsam and Jetsams to have +3 ward, evasive, rush. Like, I want them to have all of it. But, like, yeah, like, crossing over wires, like, I think as we get more of them, like, it could be good. I would say this is like a 1.5 to 2 with, like, potential future upside.
Hmm. It could. I mean, it could be a funny draft pick, right? If you end up picking all the Flotsams and Jetsams. But I think I agree with you. I don't know about Magic, but in Hearthstone we had Murlocs, kind of a similar idea.
Yeah,
And you're right.
similar
Like,
thing.
it's way worse than Murlocs if it's only applying to the other versions of the cards and not the ones that share the Flotsam name or the Jetsam name, depending on which one you're playing. So yeah, I'd say a tentative 2-star potential for future sets.
It's a fair assessment.
Okay, well, we came back, we filled in 72, so now we are at 74. Helga Sinclair. I actually drafted and played this card in my limited deck for the pre-release. Never got a chance to play it, so never. I don't think its effect would have ever come in handy. You really have to be playing a deck that is centered around these sort of damage effects, and it seems a bit too conditional for a 5-cost uninkable, which is a very contested ink slot for a lot of these decks. Like, there are some amazing 5 costs, especially in Emerald Steel. You're looking at like Kuzco, Ray, Tragic Beast. I don't think this is doing enough
Bell.
because it's not proactive
Bell,
enough.
Beast, Robin Hood. Like,
Yeah,
think of the other 5. Think of the other 5 drop shifts. Bell, Beast, Robin Hood are all 5 drops. They're all, well, 2 of them are inkable. All 3 of them shift for 3. Do you want to shift this, or do you want to shift Beast, or do you want to shift Bell, or do
Mm.
you want to shift Robin Hood? Like,
I mean, it has the
unfortunately, the
villain
fact
tag, so maybe Emerald Amber villains with the new Queen of Hearts.
you got me. Yep,
Yeah.
villains are good, guys. Now hear this. Helga
Villain.
Sinclair.
Yeah, I think the fact that it's a villain will make me put it at a 1.5 instead of a 1, but that still rounds down to a 1.
Yeah, it's sad. One of the best arts too. It's such a good art.
This set is just full of cards that look great but play bad, and I'm really upset about it. Okay, well, we're going to number 75. Again, Helga Sinclair. This is the smaller version. When this character is challenged and banished, banish per challenged character. I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on this because I had a really hard time assessing it in draft. Because usually you have a 2-1 stat line because that's what makes the trade. And with this kind of effect, I feel like you want it to be a more livable card so that it can quest multiple times. But if it can only be alive once and then die to literally any removal card in the game that deals any damage, it just feels way too fragile to make that effect effective. Like at least a Cheshire Cat is a 0/3 that quests for 2 and applies pressure.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not playing this on 2. The green has so many good 2 drops, Bucky, Morph, like you have Ursula, you have a million things that you want to do on turn 2 that don't involve Helga Sinclair.
Yeah. So I mean, unless for some reason you're shifting in a villain deck, I think this is a 1 star. Not very good. No reason to play it. Number 6, we have Jetsam. Ow, Ward. Hey, it's OP now. I'm calling it now. give your Flotsam sword. Now this actually makes it hard. I can't remember which one was Jetsam and which one was Flotsam for the set one. So I don't know what effects get what, which cards get what effects if you have all of them on the board.
You're gonna put me on the spot here. So, which one's the 5-cost one? Is the one that gives evasive.
And one of them gives
He's a
rush.
5-cost uninkable, and then the other one gives rush.
This is my problem.
I'll
I
tell you.
remember effects, not names. I never remember names of cards. Just what effects they have. And their stat lines.
Here, I'll tell you right now. They were both in purple, were they not?
Yes.
So
these ones are both in Emerald.
Jetsam is the 4-drop that's evasive. Your character's name Flotsam get evasive, and then Flotsam is the rush. Your character's name Jetsam get rush. I definitely don't want to give this one rush, but like giving the
so
other
Flotsams get evasive
ward,
and ward. Yeah, that's pretty great.
Flotsams get evasive and ward. Jetsams get rush and +3. I don't want to give my ward one that's giving the other one's ward rush and attack. Like that's the thing that I don't understand. Like they could have done such cool things with these, but like I feel like they like reversed the abilities you wanted on them this set.
Yeah, they might have been maybe overly cautious just so they wouldn't be OP, but I think them being overly cautious has just made them bad. Like, this is a 1 star, maybe 1.5 for potential with future additions.
Yeah. Like both Flotsams, oh man, imagine if like your 5-drop purple Flotsam that has rush got the +3 from the Flotsam from this set. Like that
would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they messed them up.
That could have changed things. And it still wouldn't have been OP. It would have been like meh, you know, like medium value.
Oh, cool. I got by eels.
Maybe we'll see eel tribal in a future set. And with that, we're going to the next card, which is Kit Cloud Kicker. I did play Kit Cloud Kicker, the big shift, but I played the blue ones in the limited. This green one is interesting. You can bounce a card with 2 attack or less to your opponent's hand. I just feel like it's a bit too slow because it's coming out on free. So a lot of the time you're probably just giving your opponent an ink.
I want to know what you would rate it before I give my 2 cents.
I don't like the stat line. I don't like that it quests for 1. I think the ability is too slow, but I do appreciate that it's on a body. I'd rate it like maybe 2.5.
So I'm playing this card right now.
Oh,
and I played
really?
it this weekend. This card is insane. It is so good. Like I'm for uncommons, like I'm giving this card like between a 3.5 to a 4, and I'm leaning closer to a 4 just because of the amount of tempo that this card provides. So
what are the main targets for the 2 attack or less? Like what are the meta threats with 2 attack or less?
Ursula.
Oh, that's a good point.
Ursula. Like, so like, especially like if we're gonna get into like this green v green matchups, like Kit Cloud Kicker is just absurd. Like your opponent's on the play, they slam their Ursula. You're like, cool, my turn 3, bounce that Ursula back to your hand. I've regained
then they
tempo,
can't sing with it. Yeah.
Right. And then like now next turn, like you're gonna replay your Ursula because it's just the best card in your deck. I can like play something else, and now Kit Cloud Kicker sings the strength to kill your Ursula, which is just nuts.
Okay.
Like it's such a huge
under that
swing.
context, I really see how helpful that is, for sure.
I love this card so much. I think this card is like flying under the radar, and it's one of the best uncommons in the set.
Okay, yeah. After hearing your contextual clues for it, 3.5 for sure.
Yeah, strong card.
Yeah, I know. I really like these more interactability effects for like cards that aren't readied. I think the game's really been needing that because otherwise it's just felt like, whoever goes first is way too impactful without these like tempo swingy reactive cards. Okay, next up we have Lyle Tiberius Rourke. When you play this character, chosen opposing character gains Reckless during their next turn. So that's kind of like John Silver, except they. So it is, yeah, it is like John Silver's Reckless, right? I think John Silver's Reckless, but it's on play and not
John
when
Silver's
quest.
reckless.
Yeah, so on play but not when quest, and whenever one of your other characters is banished, each opponent loses one law. Maybe this sees play and mill, where your goal is to just control the board and keep the law count down until you can mill your opponent. But there's just so many good free drops, and this is uninkable. I find it really tough to choose to play. Like, it's got a Jasper stat line, which is decent.
I think this card's like pretty strong, especially for like a super rare. Like we've seen a lot of really low end power super rares. Like the fact that
Mm,
this card has a relevant enter the battlefield effect as well as an additional line of text. Like imagine your opponent, you're playing an aggressive shell and you're playing against a be prepared deck, and you've got 4 or 5 guys in play, and they're trying to do like goat bounce and winning with like minis and stuff like that, and they're incrementally gaining a little bit here and there, and they slam a B prep, wipe 5 of your dudes, you drain them for 5 lore. Like that's not something to scoff at. I don't know that he's
yeah.
necessarily perfect right now, but like I think that Lyle will be a player in the game at some point in the near future as the meta starts to slow down and the be prepared decks start to like regain a little bit of control.
So definitely a tech card to keep in mind for depending on the state of the meta and what kind of like area removal is being played.
Yeah, I like the card. I think he's got a reasonable stat line. I wish he quested for 2, but then like he'd probably just be busted.
Oh, he'd be OP if he quested for 2.
Yeah, he'd be
He
insane. He'd be
he'd
insane.
also be OP if he applied Reckless every time he quested, like John Silver.
Oh my
Like
gosh, the
it's
card would be
definitely
insane.
yeah. Do you think if this was a 2/5, would it just be nuts? Like just that extra one
Yeah,
stat line?
it'd just
Yeah,
be so broken. Yeah, not dying to Fox. Yeah, that'd be wild.
that'd be crazy. All right,
I think he's a
what
I
do
think
you
he's a
think of it? Like
fair
a
card,
free?
but he's good. I think he's
He's-
probably like a 3. Yeah,
Yeah,
like I
like a
don't
low
hate the card.
free
I think that the
maybe.
card's reasonable.
Okay. Yeah, no, I can agree with that. At 79, we have Milo Thatch, 1 mana 2/2. We all know what a 1 mana 2/2 is. It's probably more about the
Goon.
card that it shifts into, I imagine, with these sorts of 2/2 reprints. And that is Milo Thatch, the 7 cost uninkable. Shift 4, when this character is banished, return all opposing characters to their player's hand. Quest for free, 4/4. Weirdly enough, I did see a lot of people hyped about this card. They were like, wow, it's going to return their whole board to their hand. And I just don't think that's that impactful on a 7 cost. Do you know how much Be Prepared costs? 7, and it banishes them.
So here's the thing. Most of the time with 7 cost or higher, we see shift costs of 5 or higher.
That's
The
true.
fact
It
that
is
this
one
shifts for
cheaper than a
4,
Cinderella. Yeah.
the fact that this shifts for 4, quests for 3, and has a super relevant effect. Like I really do like Milo Thatch. I don't know that he's found a perfect home yet. I've tried him out in green steel and I've opted for some other options like Hercules to be able to deal with locations in the slot that
Mm.
I would normally play Milo Thatch. It is a very powerful effect. Like he's very similar to like the Bell. Like if you think about Bell, if you shift Bell on 3 and you start turning it sideways, gaining 3 every turn, at some point they're going to have to attack it. And when they do is when they take their tempo loss. Like if they don't have damage based removal like in Steel. I think the
I think
card's
this
like
is slightly better than Bell in the sense that it doesn't have to be
yeah,
challenged to trigger the effect. So I would put this above
right,
Bell in terms of that kind
right.
of defensive high quester.
hmm Yeah, like you imagine like at some point in the game, like they run a Maui into one of your dudes and they've got like Jim Hawkins and like Mini and Goat. Well, not Goat. You don't really want to bounce their Goat back. But like
Yeah.
they have like a board, they have a board of things. Like just bounce if this thing gets to bounce 3 or more, insane. Insane.
Yeah, I think there is a lot of value, especially when you're already ahead on tempo. So if you're playing an aggressive or mid-rangey list, and you're trying to be the beatdown, this sort of card has a lot more value.
Yep. I like it.
I
I think
I
it's
think
like a
3.5.
2.5.
2.5?
3.5.
Okay.
I wouldn't go that high.
Oh, my star ratings are all over the place. I think I've wait, free is average, right? Free is an average card, or
Yeah, 3.
are we saying 2 is like pack filler, but you might play it, and then 1 is just pure pack filler, and then 3 is it's going to be played in some decks, almost certainly.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well,
I
with
think,
that range, I
yeah,
think yeah, low free
2
2.5
point.
maybe then.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll round it down to 2. I'll defer to you on this, which is really funny because I came into the card being like almost saying it was worse than you thought it was, and then my star rating in mind was higher. I
I'm
think
still
that
gonna
should.
play with him. Like I'm gonna mess around with him, see if I can like figure out a shell for him that works.
Yeah, no, it's one of those cards that definitely has value, and again, play this in your limited tournaments. If you still have some pre-releases like Milo Fetch, if you can find the 2/2, it's a very relevant shift. I mean, any quest-free shift is going to be great in a lower power level format. But next up, we have a card that I think is definitely meta-defining, Morph. 2 cost inkable 2/1. You may play any character with shift on this character as if this character had any name. That's just nuts for consistency of shift cards, which are usually,
So
they
good.
find inconsistency in not having enough cards to shift on, especially in these early sets.
Okay. Thematically, I love this card so much. Morph Space Goo, plus it has by far, in my opinion, the best art for an enchanted this set. And it's one of the ones that I pulled this weekend, so like I'm a little bit biased, but
You pulled in
I
Morph
I
Enchanted?
lo- I did.
Oh,
I pulled
that's
a Morph
awesome.
Enchanted and a the Mickey Mouse, which I'm like less excited about because I'm never gonna play Elvish Piper. But
You're
Morph,
my
oh my god, I love this card. It's so good. It's so good, and it is gonna be meta defining. Like I love this card. It's like one of the cutest ones. It's also just an incredibly powerful effect. I'm playing 4 copies of it for the foreseeable future. Um, I'm hesitant to put it in the 5 slot, though. I think like it's either like a really strong 4, 4.5. I could see it being a 5, but like when I think about some of the other 5s that I have in consideration, like it doesn't stack up as good as those. So for me, it's like a 4,
Hmm.
4.5. But I love Space Goo.
I would agree with you on 4.5. If anything, for the fact that this card has potential to definitely be a 5 going into future sets because it's got so much open
Agreed.
design space.
Yep, definitely agree.
All right, well, 4-star for now. Maybe see you 5-star in the next set, Morph. Now we have Peter Pan, Lost Boy Leader, free. Once per turn, with this character moves to a location, gain lore equal to that location's lore pips. I could see this working in like a green-red location-based deck. Like it feels like it's got some value there. But in any other scenario where you can't cheat out the move cost, I think it's going to be hard to make this card unfair, which would probably put me between 2 and 3 stars.
It's got future, like, okay, so this card could have been busted if they did not put the once per turn text on it. This card
Yeah.
could have been absolutely bonkers. And I'm like, from a design perspective, I'm glad that they didn't do that. The one downside is that we don't have a location currently that passively gains 3 or more lore. I think the second we
Mm,
get a 3 lore gain location, like, understand it may be a little bit of an expensive location, but the second we get a 3 lore, like, this dude's stocks are going to go up. Right now, he's probably just a 2, like 4
yeah.
cost, 3/3, only quest for 1. Like, not necessarily good enough, but has significant future state implications.
And if it were a free lore pip location that was in green or red, then you could cheat out the move cost with the red effects.
Voyage.
Yeah, that would be insane. A Voyage on 2 beta bands? Oh my
Oh my
god.
goodness.
That would be that'd be insane. An
Wild.
uninteractable 6 lore gain from 1 card. One playing 1 card with having Peter Pan's on board. And also, one thing to note is that this effect can activate when the ink has not dried, like the turn you've played it. So if you like play it and move it, you still get the lore pips, which I think is nothing to scoff at for that interaction.
Yep. It'll be scary in future sets.
All right, next up, we've spent like 26 minutes already, so we're going to speed up on these reviews. But we have Prince John Phony King, 2/4. Whenever this character quests, each opponent with more lore than you loses 2 lore. Quest for 2. This card seems bad. Like, really, really, really bad. Especially, it's a 5-cost uninkable. Why does it need to be uninkable? It's not that good.
One and done. Get it out of here.
Yeah, what a dud. See you around,
Poor
Prince John.
Prince John.
Enjoy your sleep.
Never inkable. Yeah.
Sucking on his thumb because he feels bad for being a 1-star. I just say I love Prince John as a character from the movies. That Robin Hood movie was great.
So good. Speaking of Robin Hood,
Four law must be broken, right? I mean, at least in limited it is. It's kind of insane in limited, but in constructed play, 4/5's just not doing enough.
I mean, if we get one more 4-pip card, the Queen from set 2 gets real good. We're currently at 12.
Yeah.
We're currently at 12 total copies that you can play of 4-pip. I think the second we hit 16, like that deck becomes real.
Because then it's consistent. Like that's a core engine.
Yeah, I think the card's like reasonable. It's like reasonably set. 4 lore is nothing to scoff at. Like that's a lot. That is a lot of lore. If this dude ever gets to turn sideways, but the fact that he dies to an Along Came Zeus is like really bad. If he was a 3/6, I'd be a lot happier. Like it dying to Maui is still fine, but like you spend 6 to play this and it just gets bolted, and you're like, that feels real bad.
Don't even get to turn it sideways because at least with Maui you've turned sideways once, right? Like
right.
Having it be Zeus is just rough. Yeah, I think 3/6 would make this like a 3-star, but this is a 2-star. It gets respect. It gets respect for the 4 lore. Could be viable in future.
Great art, phenomenal art,
amazing art. Love Robin Hood. But I just love I love the more painted arts this set. 1-star, real. Ooh. Okay, well you get. Yeah, you're getting demoted, Robin Hood.
I'm discard. I'm never sleeving this up unless it's in a deck with the Queen. It's just not happening.
The Queen burn deck coming soon. Well, we have Shen Zi. While this character is at a location, she gets +3 attack, and while this character is at a location, whenever she challenges another character, you may draw a card. This deck actually did some value against me in limited, but in constructed, I am never playing this card.
1-star super rare. Bye. See you later. Love the character. Hate the card.
Bye.
Great art.
Which is a common theme in this set. Love the art, love the character, hate the mechanics. And another Robin Hood character, Sir Hiss, aggravating ass, but it's a 3/1 evasive.
Like a 2.
Isn't this just worse than Fidget? It's just 1 health less than Fidget.
Yeah, but it costs 2 instead of 3.
Oh, does Fidget only cost 3?
This can come down a turn sooner to like. It can come down a turn sooner to like deal with minis on the other opposing side of the board, but like it still dies to Teeth Inhibition. So like, is it any better? Like maybe because of ink efficiency. Like I don't know. Like I'm not playing this card.
I think it's slightly better because of ink efficiency. Like it's better than a Fidget, but that's only because not many people are running deal 1 damage. So anything that kills a Fidget is going to kill a Sir Hiss anyway, and vice versa. Right. Well, 1-star. Maybe it could be a niche tech card in future, but really depends on the meta. Maybe. Next up, we have Skippy, Energetic Rabbit, 2/2 ward, 1 lore, and it costs 2. I've never been a fan of these ward cards. Oh, is it the same stats as Aladdin?
Yeah, same exact stats as Aladdin.
Yeah, it's not good.
Buy. We are saving you time on this video. 1-star buy.
1-star buy. Ward really just needs some better cards. Like, you need some nice stats on Ward to make Ward worth it. Otherwise, what's the point in the Ward text if it can just get challenged anyway?
You need 3 health on Ward so it doesn't also die to grab your swords.
Yeah. Well, next up we have 7 cost, quest for free, 6/6.
Limited bomb, 1-star. Bye. Get out of here, Starkey.
All right, next up we have a 5-cost Stitch, Covert Agent, free evasive. While this character is at a location, he gains Ward. Quest for 2. If it came in as
worse than Ray, it's still worse than Ray.
It's still worse than Ray. If it came in cheaper, like if this was a 3 cost, I'd be playing this. It'd be nuts.
If it was a 3 cost, it'd be busted. What do you mean? A 3 cost 3/3 evasive quest for 2? That's just better than Mini, and it has additional upside that it could like gain ward. Are you kidding me? Yeah, that'd be nuts.
Yeah, so 5 is bad. 3 cost is nuts. What if it was 4?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be better at 4. Like, it would be playable at 4. I think at 5, it's just not playable.
Yeah.
Like, I have so many better things that I'm doing on 5 than this. And then, like, you also have to move it to a location, and, like, the location has to live, and there's a cost associated with moving. Like, I'm just playing Ray. Ray just quest for 3.
Yeah, Ray's just nuts. Ray doesn't need all these conditions. He just quests for free, and he's going
Yeah.
down the New Orleans River, enjoying his life. 1 star.
Ooh.
Oh,
Man, these
we got a
next
good one
two
coming up.
though.
Ursula,
Oh,
one of the best cards of the set. 2 cost, 1 free, 1 lore. When you play this character, chosen opponent reveals by hand and discards some card of your choice. I'm going to go out on a leg here. I'm getting more phrases wrong. I had someone point out in the comments when I got a phrase wrong in the last video. But yeah, 5 star. I'd say 5 star.
yeah, this is a 5-star. It's a bomb uncommon.
Mm.
Gonna be meta defining. One of the best cards in the set.
Yeah, we did not need more insane legendaries. Leave the other Ursula to be an insane legendary.
I'm like prepping my heart rate right now.
The other Ursula! Ursula, Deceiver of All. Whenever this character sings a song, you may play that song again from your discard for free, then put it on the bottom of your deck. It's a 2 free, not even a bad stat line. That's wow. Wow.
Right. There's a lot to unpack with this. So first and foremost, I may have said that Bare Necessities was the best card in the set. I was wrong. This is not only the best card in set 3, it is the best card in the game, period, right now. Like, the amount of value generation that this card this is a 6. This is a 6.
This is a 6.
This card,
wait, I got it. 6 star.
There you go. This card is so miles apart in value generation than any other card that this game has. Like, the things that you can do with this card are just absolutely broken. Like, I think you're going to see that this meta is going to revolve around green, and it's mostly going to be green, steel, and green, purple battling each other out. One's going to draw a bunch of cards. One's going to like deal with boards really effectively between Let the Storm Rage On and Strength of a Raging Fire. This card is only going to get better as time goes on, and we get more 3-cost songs that are absolutely busted. It will be a staple until it gets banned because it's too good. That's how good this card is.
And that is a call out. You heard it here first. R&B on the Alvest channel. Ursula, Deceiver of All will be banned one day. Yeah, I mean there's just so much value. Like this feels like such a Hearthstone effect, you know? Like it's so much.
It's absurd.
It's just crazy.
It's absolutely nuts. Like some of the turns that I had this weekend in the event off of this card were just so ridiculous. Like there was a turn where they had like 2 X5s in play, and I was like, oh my gosh, how do I deal with this? I only have 3 dudes in play. I like played a Tinkerbell, used her to sing Strength of a Raging Fire to deal 4 to both of them, like cleared both of them. It was just, and then here's the busted part: you put the song back on the bottom of your deck for some reason. What?
You draw it
just
again
gets
later.
to go back in my deck. Like if I have a way to shuffle my deck, are you kidding me? There's value.
That's crazy. Actually, yeah, that makes so purple has ways to shuffle their deck, so you can take advantage of it that way. Broom. Broom good confirmed? Broom meta? That's really interesting actually. The Broom Ursula combo. That's something I had not considered. Wow. Okay, well, that is our first 6-star card, everyone. We definitely had a real graphic made for it. It wasn't just 2 graphics in a trench coat sitting on top of each other.
Oh man.
All right, well, let's come down from this high and go for a probably less OP card in Wildcat Mechanic. 2 free evasive, tap to banish chosen item. It's a Benja that doesn't quest for 2 and isn't on play, but you can banish multiple items and assume that this card probably lives because it's an evasive. I see this finding use in an item-heavy meta, for sure.
Yeah. If items become like a really, really popular thing in the meta, this card's absurd. I think we are currently in the song meta right now.
Yeah.
If we shift into an item meta, this card just becomes absolutely insane. I know that like when I saw this card get spoiled, I was at the time working on an item storm deck, and I was like, well, there goes my item storm deck. Printed 1 card that my deck just loses to. So like I got really upset. But like I think that there's this card has a lot packed into it. I think if we do ever get to a point where items are a big thing. It's a 4.
But
3
right now,
for a
probably a
2/3 with
two.
evasive.
Oh,
Like,
free? Okay.
I think probably a 3. I think it's still just like a reasonable card. It's a great tech choice that you can put in your deck. It's inkable, so if it's not relevant, boom, right into the inkwell.
It's
Like,
better than Peter Pan. It's just straight up better than Peter Pan because it's a 2 free over a free 2. You know, that's convinced me that it's a free start because people play Peter
yeah.
Pan for some unknown reason. And this is just play this instead. It's so much better. Yeah, I am item heavy meta. See, what I really like about the design of this card is that if we do come to an item heavy meta, or just cards like this design, I like that there are now more deck building options to counter decks, but you have to really make a meta call and say, do I want to sacrifice some generic power for this, tech power, this counter power? And it's making deck building so much more interesting and nuanced as we progress through the sets.
This next one, man. Talk about some
Zazu.
good art, bro.
Great art. I love Lion King. I mean, everyone loves Lion King, but I watched that on loop on VHS growing up.
Lion King was the first time I ever felt true heartbreak. That moment when Scar digs his claws
Oh
in
my
and
god.
throws him off the mountain. Like, I was like, no, as a child. Like, oh, it was so heartbreaking.
Yeah, and then he
But yeah,
lies to
Zazu.
Simba. The lying to Simba got me. But enough nostalgia. Memorizing Lion King scenes. We have Zazu, Steward of a Pride Land. 2-1, not a good stat line, but while this character is at a location, he gets +1 lore. That makes it a pseudo 2 lore quester, but just why not play
It's
Cursed
inkable, though.
Merfolk?
That's
It is
inkable.
inkable. It is inkable. So the upside of a Cursed Merfolk is that it's inkable.
I think this is
And if,
another one of those ones that's kind of flying under the radar, though. Like, this is a pretty
yeah,
powerful thing. Like, the fact that it's a 2/1, it can challenge into like X2s, which is like pretty
that's true.
good. It also has like potential upside if you are playing a location based deck, like
Like
a
green
one
red.
drop that quest for 2 that is inkable. Like, I think that this card will see play in some capacity at some point when somebody looks at it, gives it another look, and is like, man, that card might not actually be bad. Let's build something that fits with him.
If you play a very low to the ground, like high tempo green red deck, this card absolutely fits and will do bits.
Yeah.
Evan, you play this alongside Cursed Merfolk, and you're looking at 2 1-drop 2 questers from green
Yeah.
alone. Like
I'd say
that's
this
pretty
is like a
great.
2-star.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I agree.
it's like a
2-star with
2B.
potential to go to 3 in the right deck.
Yeah, agreed.
Also, in draft, this card was great. Next
Oh,
up
I'm
is
sure, yeah.
Has Set My Heart. I don't know. How are we supposed to read this card? Do we have to say the multiple A's?
Has set my heart. So, like, I never knew what this song was. My
Yeah.
girlfriend and I listened to the song this weekend because we had never heard it. It's really just Goofy singing. The song's hilarious, by the way, just because Goofy is the one that's singing it. But yeah, that's the last time I'll ever talk about that card, and I'll give it a 1 and move on.
For everyone watching, I'm not yawning because R&B is boring to listen to. It is very late. It's 3 a.m.
Yeah,
already when we are recording this, so I'm just tired. I'm not trying to be rude, guys.
unfortunately, we're on opposite sides of the world, so, like, we don't between our schedules, we don't have a ton of time that's, like, really like, one of us is like, I'm either gonna be awake at, like, 4 a.m. in the morning to, like, catch him when he wakes up, or he's gonna be
At 4 a.m. in
staying
the
up super
morning.
late.
Yeah.
Like, one of us is gonna be at 4 a.m. in the morning. It just is what it is.
Yeah, no, but I mean, you guys seem to have been really enjoying the set review, so we just made sure to get a time organized so that we could record more episodes and hopefully get them all done this week. And next up, we have I Will Find My Way. A chosen character of yours gets +2 this turn. They may move to a location for free. Now, this is interesting in the context of we're talking about green-red location decks, and it also makes Zazu more viable just within green itself. But I think one thing where this card could work is if you're playing, again, a low to the ground, aggressive green deck, and you're playing like the Fangs Castle location. So we'll look at that later when we get to the locations, but it gives Warden evasive. So being able to cheat out the free cost move cost is somewhat worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it's also a song, so, like, there's something to be said there for, like, a 1-drop song that, like, may actually, like, work. Like, I
Yeah.
could see where you go, like, Zazu on 1 On 2, you could play, like, I don't know, there's no 2 drop.
You can play two one
Let's say
drops.
you're yeah, like, let's say you're in green steel and you have, like, Nottingham or something. No, that one doesn't make sense either. Okay, it's not relevant yet. In the
It's
future, it
not
might be
relevant yet.
relevant, but
Yeah.
one cost song where you could, like, turn Zazu sideways to, like, sing him to put him to a 2 cost. Oh, Maui's Place of Exile. There you go.
Mm.
I figured it out. Maui's Place of Exile. You, like, play Maui's Place of Exile on 2, move Zazu there for free. Like,
Yeah, I
that's,
mean it
like,
gets
interesting.
resist, right? Resist +2
Yeah.
or +1?
+1. Resist
+1.
+1, so it's a 2/2 that quests for 2 for 1, and you only had to use 3 cards to get it to do that? Alright.
Yeah. But
I've convinced myself.
this
Like,
is this is definitely a card that we'll probably find play one day, because anything that does something for free will
yeah.
eventually find its place in a deck. And locations are something that are bound to be more impactful and more powerful as the game goes on.
It's gonna require another
Yeah.
set that has good locations.
But for now, maybe 1 star, 1.5 for future potential.
Sure. Great,
I think
great
what's
song.
really interesting about Emerald is even if the cards aren't good now, they all seem to have really interesting effects that, give Emerald a lot more potential going forward. And now we have a very good song, from my understanding, inkable, strike a good match. It's a song, so it can sing, and it gets draw 2 cards, then choose and discard a card. Now, normally, this is just a +1. But when you combine this with Ursula and sing it, you're playing this twice, and you're cycling 2 cards, drawing 2 cards. So it's a way to get rid of some uninkables you're not going to play, making your hand quality better and your curve more consistent while adding card advantage. I mean, that's just nuts, right?
This card's absurd. So, like, the green steel deck that I'm playing, I am playing a whole new world in it. And not only does this card, if you use Ursula to sing it, draw 4, discard 2, but, like, I can either look for a whole new world to try to, like, force my opponent to discard 5 to 7 cards that they have in him when I'm low resource,
Mm.
or I can draw 4, discard 2, and discard these whole new worlds because they have no cards in hand, and I'm never going to refill them. I think this card's insane. I
Would
put this at a 4. Green doesn't normally have card advantage, and now
Yeah.
between Ursula and this, like, you've given a color that doesn't typically have something that is very, very powerful.
And this is the kind of card advantage that you need to make Whole New World better, so that you have the option to say, "Hey, you just dumped your hand to counter Whole New World. I'm just not going to play it," and build card advantage in
Yep,
other ways, much like Blue Steel did with the Haram Popsicle package.
exactly. Yeah, I love this card. I think it's fantastic.
5 star?
Nah, it's a 4.
Oh,
It's not
okay, four
Ursula
star.
herself.
Yeah,
It wouldn't be as
that's
good
true.
without Ursula.
But Ursula's a 6 star, so maybe you could go a star below Ursula.
Okay, that's fair.
We'll leave for. I actually do think it's a 5 star the more I think about it, because you're right. It gives so much value to Emerald where it didn't have it before.
5 stars are meta defining.
Okay, fair enough. 5 star, meta defining. There we go. And then 6 star is reserved for best card of a set.
If you're playing green, if you're playing green and not playing Ursula, you're just doing it wrong. And if you're playing green, you're playing strike a good match.
Yeah. Airfoil. 2 cost, inkable. Tap if you've played 2 or more actions this turn, draw a card. This seems bad. But
It's just slow.
maybe with potential for something in the future, like some crazy combo deck. Who knows?
Yeah, it's just slow. Like, obviously, like, Ursula does cast the action twice. So,
Mm.
like, you could play this on 2, play Ursula on 3, but then, like, I guess, like, you're playing a draw, like, you're just draw. Like, you're in green purple. You play this on 2, Ursula on 3, use Ursula to sing Friends on the Other Side, draw 4 cards. Now you get to, like, tap airfoil to draw a 5th card, and then
It
you
is
just
a
get
great
wrecked by the
mill
whole new
card.
world.
It's a great mill
Self-mill.
card if you want to mill yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If we ever get like a Thassa's Oracle style card in this game where you have an alternate win condition where if you were to draw a card in your deck and you have no cards in the deck, you win the game instead of losing the game, then yeah, like this would fit right in there.
That'd be such a funny way to win the game, especially.
Oh yeah. Like
Yeah, but for now, I think it's 1 star. It's kind of slow. It's overkill. It's not good. But maybe if we had
green
like
is
an
not allowed to
Exodia
get good
deck and
items.
card draw becomes really important, you get the Exodia combo. Next up is
Green's just
Robin's
not allowed to
Bow.
have inkable cards either.
It's really not. So I got this card in draft. I didn't end up playing it. So that speaks to some of the inherent value of the card. It's a free cost uninkable, tap to deal 1 damage to chosen damage character or location, which is, I don't know, did it even need to be that conditional to already be a damage character? And whenever a character of yours named Robin Hood quest, you may ready this item. Like, Plasma Gun doesn't have that condition. Why does this card have that condition?
The one thing that they could have changed on this card to like maybe give it a second look is whenever a character of yours named Robin Hood becomes exerted, it like then we're kind of talking because
Because
two
when you
drop
steal,
is a
tap
pinger.
Robin Hood, yeah.
Yeah. So like I could see these situations where like maybe something has 1 damage on it already. You like use this to deal a damage to it, use Robin Hood to deal a damage to it, untap this, deal another damage to it. Like that would have been a really cool play line. Otherwise, like this card
This
is
is bad. This is
this
one
card's
star.
buns.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
this is
0.5
awful.
star.
0.5. One of the worst cards in green, which is saying a lot because most green cards this set are good. 4 cost, uninkable, Starlight Vial, another item, tap, you pay 2 less for the next action you play this turn. Pay 2 cost, banish this item, draw 2 cards when choosing discard a card. Oh. Probably bad, but like maybe something in the future.
I don't know. These so this is just a upshift of Dr. Facilier's cards. Like we also saw it in Amber this set where we got an upshift of Lantern in Heart of Atlantis. Like I think 4 and being uninkable makes both of those items like very unplayable. But like
Yeah.
it's a great card in like limited. Well, the Heart of Atlantis is great. I don't know that this one's great.
I don't think this is great in limited.
No.
You have to pay, you have to
it's a
pay, this is
1-star.
like Dinner Bell in limited. You have to pay 6 to draw 2. Like,
Yeah, no. 1-star. Bye. Bye. Have a
star,
great
bye.
time.
Well, I want to see someone play this in a combo deck and, you know, have it see Dinner Bell levels of success.
Oh,
Now we
brother.
enter the locations. Get those reading tilts
All
out.
right, 1, 2,
Ville
3.
Manor. One cost inkable, 1/4 quest for 1. See, playing sealed on the pre-release was my first time playing with locations. And it was really interesting, especially going in with the knowledge that, you know, locations passively gained lore. I was like, wow, I'm going to draft a lot of these. I'm going to play a lot of these. And especially in a lower power format, locations were insane because people didn't have the
These are
stats to
super
deal with
high
them.
health.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
locations also just felt like a very win more play if you were going first because you already had the tempo
yeah.
inherently. But in constructed, this kind of location's harder to make work because it's 4 health. It's so easily traded into and removed by so many cards.
So, like, here's the thing. If you're on the play, like, I think that these 1-drop locations are, like, pretty reasonable because they're typically going to get at minimum 3. Usually. They're going to get at minimum 3 lore, which, like, off of a 1-drop, really not that bad. But, like, if you're following this up with, like, a 2-drop character that they need to answer and a 3-drop character that they need to answer, like, these things could go the distance and get you between 5 to 6 lore. Like, a 1 cost 04, that quest for 1, like, I would play that. Like, that's just a great stat. This card is not getting taken out single-handedly unless they have exactly Crab or exactly Fox in the current, like, based on the cards that we have right now. So, like, I think that they're reasonable. Like, you just have to decide, like, if you're playing a deck that's specifically location based, like you have some synergies that you need with locations, like John Silver or something like that. I think that the 1-drops are like pretty good. Otherwise, bombing in limited, like it's still a
Definitely bomb
1-star
limited.
just with like all the other locations until we get more location synergistic required cards.
Yeah, no, I think for
No,
sure.
maybe it's
Like
a 2. Maybe it's a 2.
1.5.
Maybe it's a 2. Sure, I'll give you that.
Yeah, I think we feel like it's a 2 because it's inherently a location, but if we're comparing it to other locations we want to be playing, it's probably a 1.
Yeah, it's just vanilla. It's like
Next up, we have Tilt Fang River City. I mentioned this earlier. It's a 4 cost inkable, costs 2 to move, 6 toughness. Oh god, I really have to tilt. There's so much text. Characters
so
gain
many
ward and
lines.
evasive while here. 2 lore pips. So the passively gain 2 lore pips is insane. But for a 4-cost location, it does only have 6 toughness, which can be removed by notably Maui, and it costs 2 to move to. So unless you're cheating the move cost, this feels way too clunky. But one area I did see value in it was, did you see I threw together a Sapphire Emerald, like, aggressive list? This plus Caterpillar is actually pretty nuts. Like, if you're playing a low to the ground deck, the 2 cost to move to gain Warden Evasive can be very worth it.
You're just like Jack Harlow. You're vanilla, baby. Playing one 3 quests for 3 vanillas, like, just trying to turn dudes sideways. Like, if you think about the other 4 cost locations that we have, like RLS Legacy and, the Castle, they're just so much better because of the fact that they're 7 and 8 health.
Can we
Like,
think
even
about it? We haven't got into the Ruby review yet.
McDuck Manor too has, like, 9 willpower for some reason. Like, I didn't even know that card existed. I just, like, saw somebody play it this weekend. I was like, "Oh, that thing's just never dying." Like,
Yeah, that
never
9
coming off the
willpower
field.
is nuts. Like, that,
Just
that's crazy.
never. I think that this card needed to have 7 willpower. At 7 willpower, it would
Mm.
have been a very, very good and very playable card. At 6, depending on how prevalent Ruby is in the format, if Ruby is nowhere to be seen, yeah, this card is insane. If Ruby's everywhere, then, like, I can't warrant playing this into Maui's. I just can't do it.
But be real with me. The Caterpillar synergy.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Through
pretty
the
nice.
roof. Like,
Yeah.
stocks going straight up.
Buy,
To the
buy.
moon.
Get up your Caterpillar copies now.
Yeah, it's probably like a 2 for me.
Yeah, I'd say a 2.
It's got a
Two's
super
fair.
powerful effect, but, like, the 2 move cost is also, like, a lot. Like, I like
Yeah, you want to
moving
be
for
cheating it
1.
out.
Yeah, you have to cheat.
All right, well, let's move on to the next location.
Last card, baby.
Last card, even, yeah, because there's 3 locations per ink, and this is Tilt Head Please. 3-cost inkable Kuzco's Palace. The guy next to me drafting from the same box as me. Keep in mind, I did not pull a single legendary. They are actually a viewer of a channel, so hi if you're watching. They pulled they pulled this as an enchanted, and they pulled an enchanted in the morning. So that's the reason I didn't walk away with any good cards from the pre-release.
Oh.
But this
I mean,
card,
to be fair, if you're gonna pull an enchanted, this is not the enchanted you want to pull.
that's
Like,
true.
I think that it's gonna stabilize at like $40.
Yeah, whenever a character is challenged and banished, we'll here banish the challenging character. But it costs 3 costs to move, and it only laws for 2 quests. It doesn't really count as questing, right?
1
Because it never turns
for 1,
sideways.
yeah.
Yeah.
But so,
For
like,
1,
here's
sorry,
the
for
thing,
1.
like,
Yeah.
we're doing this thing where we have this, like, imbalance here between this one and Fang, where, like, this one costs 1 less, has 1 more willpower, lures for 1 less, but, like, also move cost is 1 more. That, like, if I could, like, combine some of the things from these 2
Mm.
cards and, like, restructure, like, what they cost, they'd have been great. Like, you're never paying 3 to move something here to turn it into a Cheshire Cat.
I mean, if
Ever.
this has Law 2, and you can cheat the move location, kind of nuts.
Probably. Or if I could take the 7 from this and put it on Fang.
Again, nuts. Yeah, yeah. So, 2-star maybe. It's a cool...
I think this one's a 1. Like, just to turn it into a Cheshire Cat? Just to turn it into a Cheshire Cat? That's it? Nah,
Yeah,
get
that's
this thing out
true.
of here.
That's a very good point. All right, well, sorry, Kuzco's Palace. As cool again, one of the coolest arts in the game. It's not that good. What?
Moral of the story
Ravensburger,
is
please.
moral of the story is if you don't own 4 Ursula yet, go get your Ursula now before they're
buy
gone
Ursula.
or $60 a piece.
So yeah, and if you are someone who has excess money, mail me 4 copies of Ursula. That's my call to
Oh,
action for the video.
I was looking for someone.
Oh, no worries. My call to action for the video is mail me 4 copies of Ursula. Thank you. I'm not going to give you my address. Just figure it out. If you see me at,
yourself.
if you see me at a Lorcana event, give me all your copies of Ursula.
Just ship it to him. Just ship it to him.